Kaspa's making a massive move to the upside, ending a 10-month downward price channel. We're going to zoom in and break down the technical analysis with this double bottom, combining it with central bank monetary policy dates up and coming to see how high this breakout will be in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Then we're going to zoom out big picture because we all know this 10 BPS upgrade is about to take place. And with that, Kaspa will be the #1 throughput cryptocurrency. This was a title previously owned by Solana. That means Solana was the fastest project out there. So we can zoom back to these 3 historical dates for Solana before the bull market, right when it started, and then at its peak. And we can see clearly Solana was 113th in market cap, 28th in market cap, and then at the top of the bull market, it was ranked #5. Kaspa, now taking that title from them, has an opportunity to go for the blast ring. A narrative that's been lost in the wayside is how important the KII is. Ondo's use case, very similar to what the KII is doing for Kaspa. Ondo placing bonds on chain. The bond market is very illiquid. It's an auction that runs every few weeks. Once Ondo puts bonds on chain, it will be 24/7. The KII is doing this with energy trading, carbon credits, which are huge and connected to the United States stock market. It's an extremely illiquid market, meaning huge companies like Tesla, for example, they can't sell their carbon credits. They're just being compliant with all this regulation for no financial upside. The KII's goal is to build massive action, heavy volume on Kaspa so they can import the carbon credit, the energy trading sector from Europe directly on that blockchain. And instead of having it be this very stagnant, similar to Ondo with the bond market, they want to bring in way more action, and they're doing it by building a huge ecosystem right on Kaspa. And they've got the biggest partners in the world, including Shell. The Binance riddle answers 11A. K, of course, the 11th letter of the alphabet, dupes the Kaspa community when in fact 11A is a central bank policy that's decentralizing all of banking. Binance's hint at how important it is to monitor Fed action. We're going to give everyone a free downloadable app for every monetary policy calendar date. We use these dates inside VIP to get accurate market projection, and we're about to tie this all into Kaspa's price action. As we're baking out of these repeating downward trend lines, these exact trend lines happening over and over again, as we can see historically, we've been using these since the summer of 2023, setting up a Fibonacci pitch between 2 massive repeating trend lines. Notice how each dividend, each fluctuation in price lines up perfectly. That was in between these 2 trend lines with the Fibonacci measurement, just underlining how accurate this system is. Each time Kaspa's been trapped in one of these downward price channels, it's at the exact same angle, and each time it's broken out has been directly at an FOMC meeting. On Tau, we recently used this to get a buy order in between $215 and $200. Tau uses the exact same repeating trend line system. These 2 colored Fibonacci pitches, notice how they line up perfectly at the exact same angle. Each pivot, each elbow lines up perfectly with that cloned Fibonacci pitch. Zooming out, we are able to put together a read that 200 was the bottom, as they'll be cutting rates in June. The price at this resistance line is 200. Therefore, we're putting that together with these prior market dips, saying, yeah, 200 is the bottom. We've got to load up. And right now, Tau is challenging prior angled resistance. This is a big move for Tau as well as Kaspa. From a technical analysis standpoint, Kaspa's upside is connected to this double bottom pattern. On average, the double bottom will yield 75 to 120% upside. This places Kaspa's price in the near future right around 13.5 cents. Meanwhile, the 50-week moving average is directly at that level. Looking at the FOMC monetary data, first, both of these divots on the double bottom are directly connected to the prior two jobs reports. On May 2nd, there's another jobs report coming, but then just 5 days later, we've got another FOMC meeting. Historically, each time Kaspa has broken out of one of these repeated downward price channels, it has been on an FOMC meeting. Institutional level investors are utilizing this data to balance their portfolios. This is the reason why I've been so bullish on Kaspa. The smart money. As soon as the central bank steps up and they start talking about, we're going to be releasing liquidity here, or we need to wait for inflation to be a bit more under control. As soon as they can size up when the bull market is on, the smart money has been pigging out on Kaspa the whole time. And this is a unique anomaly that's telling me Kaspa's going to do one of these moves here where it started in the back of the pack, got into the middle of the pack where it is right now, but at the end of this bull run, once all the liquidity is dumped, it's going to end up on top. That's my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. Connecting everything to monetary policy calendar dates, there's a free download in the description to an app called My FX Book, which will show when the next FOMC meeting is, when the next bond auction is, PCE. Step 1 is complete. Kaspa has been purchased. The most difficult part of any trade is timing when the top will be. Central bank monetary policy will provide more insight to the market top than any other known tactic. Using last cycle for an example, on November 7th, the Fed had a meeting where they hiked rates from 0, switch quantitative easing into quantitative tightening, clearly signaling an end of expansion liquidity and the end of the bull run with that. Right there marked the peak of the total 3. Even outliers like ADA, which released smart contracts in September, causing a massive spike. Still, once the Fed canceled the show, it was right around that local peak. The more time and energy we place on analyzing these economic data drops, the better we'll be able to understand when the central bank is going to stop this up and coming bull market. We've built a VIP program around all your traditional crypto insight, researching on-chain data, technical analysis, and tying it all into these macroeconomic factors has unlocked a massive amount of insight. For example, with your classic patterns, using Kaspa for an example, with this double bottom, both of these tranche lows were on jobs reports. Looking at the total 3, this falling wedge, another bullish pattern, ended directly when they were cutting rates. So your classic patterns, all of you out there that are really into technical analysis, you'll find that when you apply these macroeconomic calendar dates from the free app in the description, it will raise your accuracy to an entire new level. Congratulations to everybody who's stuck with Kaspa through this bear market. It's already top performer with Render and Tau breaking to the upside before other projects do, accelerating its way through the market cap ranking. Local projections are showing 13.5 cents. It's on the table for those numbers to happen before the May 7th FOMC meeting, and then it's 3, 2, 1 blast off to the upside with our 10 BPS upgrade. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.